Welcome to Euro Bangla City SATV News. This is Shibala Alam with our headlines. Prime Minister urged to take COVID jab immediately to protect lives from the new variant, opens National Science and Technology Complex at Agargaon. Today is the first day of the 11-point directive to stop new variant Omicron. Moderna shot to replace Pfizer as booster dose. Bangladesh urged Vietnam to exert their friendly influence on Myanmar to take forcefully displaced citizens Rohingya back. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina today urged the unvaccinated people of the country to take the COVID-19 jab immediately to protect their lives from the new variant of the pandemic. She said while inaugurating the newly constructed National Science and Technology Complex in the city's Agargaon area. Prime Minister opened the complex, joining a function virtually from her official residence, Gana Bhavan. The Premier said they started vaccinating school students as well. At least a life might be saved if one gets vaccinated. She called upon all to follow the health protocols properly and abide by the recent directives issued by the government. The modern complex was constructed spending Dhaka 222 crore to further popularize science and technology and encourage the young and non-professional scientists for their innovative activities. The 11-point restriction imposed by the government to prevent the highly contagious new COVID-19 variant Omicron began today. The Cabinet Division issued a notification to the end on January 10th. The restrictions will remain effective until further notice. Using masks has been made mandatory at shops, shopping malls, bazaars, hotel, restaurants and all public places. If one violates the rules, legal action will be taken against him or her. All must use masks in offices and court as well. COVID-19 vaccine certificates must be shown when dining in restaurants or staying at hotels. Train, buses, launches will carry passengers at half capacity. All social, political and religious functions will remain closed at open space until further notice. Meanwhile, drivers threatened to stop buses from Saturday if fares were not increased. The health authorities in Bangladesh have decided to administer the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine as booster shots in places of the Pfizer one. The Director General of Health Services on Wednesday issued a notification in this regard. The government will reserve the Pfizer vaccine for students aged 12 to 17 and others who have already received one dose of it. The decision was taken considering the number of vaccines in hand and to ensure that every eligible person in the country is inoculated. The DGHS started its booster drive on December 28 last year. The doses are currently administered to people over 60 and frontline workers. Meanwhile, the Danish government said it is proposing a fourth COVID vaccine dose for people deemed highly vulnerable amid a spike in cases of the Omicron variant. Bangladesh has urged Vietnam to exert their friendly influence on Myanmar to take their forcefully displaced Rohingyas back on expeditious basis. The urge was made during the telephone conversation between Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen and his Vietnamese counterpart Bui Thanh Son on Wednesday. During the conversation, Momen called upon Vietnam and ASEAN to play a more proactive role in bringing a sustainable solution to the protracted Rohingya crisis by in a speedy, safe and dignified repatriation of the forcibly displaced people back to Myanmar. Momen also voiced concerns over the growing susceptibility of the displaced Myanmar citizens in Bangladesh to radicalism, extremism, transborder crimes, human trafficking, drug smuggling, which have serious security implications for the entire region. The 15-day annual naval exercise ended with a submarine operation and successful missile launch in sea. In the conclusion day's exercise, Planning Minister M.A. Mannan said that the activities of this force have increased a lot now. Chief of Naval Staff Admiral M. Shaheen Iqbal said they have the capability to use the blue economy as well as protect the country's maritime borders. Dalia Nilofer has the report.
Enemy warships suddenly invaded the country's territorial waters. At the same time, the brilliant naval commanders put up resistance. Attack and counterattacks got started. At one stage, the enemy is defeated by the modern weapons and tactics of the patriotic Navy. Such a symbolic war situation was unveiled on the concluding day of the Navy's annual exercise. One of the highlights of the exercise was the successful launch of the missile at 12.5 nautical miles away by Chief Guest Planning Minister M.A. Mannan. Later, the minister praised the Navy for safeguarding the independence and sovereignty of the country and for economic development. Besides, the Chief of Naval Staff said that their capabilities have been strengthened now. The 15-day exercise, conducted in 4 phases, was attended by a number of ships including naval frigates, corvettes, minesweepers, patrol craft, missile boats and maritime patrol aircraft and helicopters. Dalia Nul for SATV News Desk.
Viewers are taking a short break. Stay with Euro Bangla City SATV News. Welcome back. You're watching Euro Bangla City SATV News. Now let's take a look at what's going on in the world. According to the World Health Organization's update, last week virus tally reached a record high. Reports said it jumped 55% from the previous week. However, the death count has remained relatively stable with 43,000 reported. All regions showed increased tallies except for Africa, which showed 11% drop. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Wednesday apologized for attending a Bring Your Own Booze party at the official residence during the first COVID-19 lockdown. Johnson first admitted to attending the party at Downing Street in May 2020 when social gatherings were limited to a bare minimum. And now opponents are calling for the Prime Minister to resign, saying that Johnson is only sorry because he had been caught. At the time of the party, rules in the UK banned meetings of more than 2 households, including meetings outdoor in gardens. Meanwhile, the Colombo High Court on Wednesday convicted Prison Commissioner Emil Lawange over the killing of 27 inmates in an execution-style massacre in November 2012. The ferocity attracted international condemnation. He was convicted in July 2019 for the killings at Sri Lanka's main Welikada prison in Colombo. Police commanders were used to put down a riot in Welikada and disarm inmates who had allegedly taken weapons from the armory. They, however, did not mention who had ordered the killings. The targeted killings triggered international condemnation of the then government of President Mahinda Rajapaksa, the current Prime Minister. 8 countries, including Iran, Venezuela, Sudan, lost their right to vote at the United Nations because of unpaid dues. A total of 11 countries are behind in their payments, Secretary General Antonio Guterres said Tuesday in a letter to the General Assembly. Under the UN Charter, a member country's right to vote is suspended when it arrears equal or exceed the amount of dues it should have paid over the preceding 2 years. The 8 countries that have lost their right to vote for now are Iran, Sudan, Venezuela, Antigua, Barbuda, Congo, Guinea, Papua New Guinea and Vanuatu. UN unpaid dues. 8 countries lost right to vote at UN for unpaid dues. U.S. Digital Economy Index said consumer spending online increased 8.6% compared to the same time in 2020. The record spending spree during the months of November and December also included 38 days of $3 billion or more in daily spending. U.S. consumers also spent a record of $855 billion online in the full year of 2021, indicating a strong growth in the digital economy. The holiday spending period from October to December represented 32% of total online annual sales in 2021. According to a study published in Advances in Atmospheric Sciences on Tuesday, the upper 2,000 meters of the world's ocean absorbed 14 more zettajoules, that is, did on 2020, which is 145 times greater than all the electricity generated in the world. Scientists point to humans for this relentless temperature increase. It's of serious concern as ocean heat content is a more effective indicator of global warming than atmospheric temperature, as the world's ocean absorbs 90% of the excess heat that is trapped in the atmosphere. What is concerning is warmer ocean water helps supercharge storms, hurricanes and extreme rainfall, not to mention they eat away at the vast ice sheets in Greenland and Antarctic, causing sea levels to rise. Now sports news. Bangladesh pace bowling coach Otis Gibson will step down from his post once his contract expires this month, a top cricket board official said on Thursday. Replacing South African pace bowling coach, Gibson was appointed by the Bangladesh Cricket Board in January 2020 for a 2-year term. Gibson has already informed the board that he is not interested to get his contract renewed, according to Jalal Yunus, the chairman of cricket operations of BCB. Before joining Bangladesh, Gibson worked as the head coach of South Africa and the West Indies. He was also the bowling coach of England. Before ending, we go to the Euro Bangla City SATV news headlines again. Prime Minister urged to take COVID jab immediately to protect lives from the new variant, opens National Science and Technology Complex at Agargaon. Today is the first day of 11-point directive to stop new variant Omicron. Moderna shot to replace Pfizer as booster dose. Bangladesh urged Vietnam to exert their friendly influence on Myanmar to take forcefully displaced citizens Rohingya back. We're up to date so far here on Euro Bangla City SATV News, and to know the latest news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.